All right, welcome back. Let's just dive to the next conversation. In a recent turnaround move, which can be seen as abandoning its isolation strategy, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has ordered the lifting of all sanctions imposed on neighboring Niger Republic following the coup there. President Tinubu gave the order on Wednesday following a decision by ECOWAS leaders to lift all sanctions on Niger, Mali, and Guinea, three West African countries currently led by pushes. All Niger assets frozen by ECOWAS Central Bank will also be lifted based on the presidential order. Nigeria's president, who is also chairman of the regional bloc ECOWAS, had imposed sanctions on Niger Republic following a coup that saw the ousting of President Mohamed Bazoum. ECOWAS insisted on the restoration of civil rule and the release of Mr. Bazoum. However, the Niger pushes rejected the proposal by ECOWAS and instead announced, alongside Mali and Burkina Faso, their exit from ECOWAS. Well, joining us right inside the studio this morning is Dr. Ganiu Oluwashola, who is the FCTI Managing Partner, KJB Professional Services, and of course, he's also a public affairs analyst. A very good morning to you this morning.
Good morning.
Well,
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You're looking all exciting. Maybe the country is really doing well as well. Anyways, let's get to it almost immediately. Now, the border ban have been lifted, and of course, the reopening of the border in Niger Republic is what is the burning issue right now. What do you make of this at this point? Of course, we're talking security and all of the happenings around West African regions.
Yeah, for me, it's as if, you know, when we move to judgment easily, it's as if we don't think things through before coming up with judgment, with sanction.
So you think the sanctions were hastily done?
Very well, because it's also belittle and also whittle his authority as the leader in the ECOWAS, right? Because the essence of the sanction has not changed. The coup plotter did not drop, they didn't withdraw, nothing has changed. Right? We came out, it's as if we issued a judgment in an haste. There's no stakeholders discussion or advisory. So we just do the judgment. And even in-house, the Northerners are saying that, hey, don't go there. They're already part of us. Most of the Niger guys are here and we are there. Right? And also don't forget that a former president was saying that if they trouble him in Nigeria, he has a brother in Niger where he's going to run to. So giving them a judgment like that, and you know, the essence of judgment, the essence of sanction, and the essence of giving some level of sanction is to curtail some excesses and force the person to retract in his or her decision in order for you to set a pace or use the person as a deterrent to be able to prevent others from going through that route. And when you look at it, the essence of the sanction has not changed. The coup plotter has not dropped them.
So what do you think would be the implication of this reopening?
So the implication is that other ECOWAS will not take him serious. Right.
Well,
because
it's not about Nigeria now, because now we seem to be focusing.
yeah, he is
on
the leader.
of Nigeria.
He's the one that gives the sanction. Okay, look at what is happening in
ECOWAS
Russia.
gave the sanctions.
Well, yes, because it's the leader of ECOWAS, right?
ECOWAS came together as a body, I think some weeks back, to say, okay, let's lift these sanctions based on humanitarian grounds, because the people are suffering. The Nigerians are suffering. So let's lift these sanctions. You don't think so? You don't think that's...
But when you look at things, okay, take for instance, is it the one involved in the pipeline vandalization in Nigeria? Who did they cry on? They said the president. Is it the one that, you know, on his lies the head that wear the crown? Because the ball, the shot, stops on his table. It makes the final decision. So anything that they make, it shows that, oh, he's the one. This are Nigeria leading the team, right? Even if the ECOWAS are there, right? So, and when you now look at the essence of the sanction, it's as if you are just playing to the gallery. We have an example of what happened to Russia. You will not see the US coming back and say that we are retracting. Right? The NATO coming back and say, because they and the thing is that's why I say that you must think deep before taking an action. Right? Taking an action before thinking might cause a lot of havoc. We now retract. It's just like the subsidy. Indirectly, the subsidy is still going on. Right? We need to plan very well before making a decision. Look at now, because even we are not totally independent. Part of even our electricity passed through Niger Republic. And Niger now tells them that, for now, no fly zone. You don't come across, increase your route. So they are telling us that we can call the shot here. You don't have the utmost authority over us.
Do you think that the lifting of this sanction is ECOWAS bowing to pressure from these guys that have taken over these other countries?
What else we will see? It's just like, okay, we say Russia is assisting them. Some of this ECOWAS team, they are already backing out and forming coup. And before you know it, there will be nothing like ECOWAS again. So that's why they say wisdom is profitable to direct. Let's quickly retract our part. It's better you make a mistake and you quickly retract your part or just allow it to go. Yes, I give him an applaud because retracting, but the thing is just showing us that let us think very well before taking an action. We all talk about what's happening in Russia versus the NATO. You not see the US, US president, you not see them bowing under pressure and saying that. You will not see directly China, Iran, Russia, they're indirectly forming their team and they're cutting off their bluff because it has implications. And once you whittle down it send all the wrong signals to others that we can do the same way and go scot-free with it.
You don't think this has sorry to jump in. Don't you think this has something to do with the fact that Ramadan has started and the fasting will be affected if Nigerians don't get access to food? That in itself might increase the trouble that Nigeria might face as we might just have insurgents coming into Nigeria.
Yeah, insurgents are already in Nigeria. Our borders are porous. We don't even have borders, right? Because the borders are open. You can just cross into Nigeria and cross out, right? So the thing is just like what I'm saying is that the essence of sanction is to compel someone to start doing the right thing. That is sanction. Okay, the Lagos government impound some cars and to show as a deterrent, then they give it out in auction. Look at the rice they're selling. To show as a deterrent to the exporter, they sanction or they auction it out just as a deterrent. So if the sanctions are whittled down, the person you want to use as a deterrent is wasn't stronger and stronger. So the essence of the sanction does not hold water, right? So the essence of it is also you saw some people try if they are really they are really patriotic. They'll see their citizen. They will be forced to say that we are answering up. But we said, don't bother. We can sustain ourselves. We have an external affiliation, either from Russia, from somewhere, they will supply us. So we are the one that is indirectly bowing to pressure, right? Because when we look at it now, they've already told us that don't fly across here. So it's not that, when you look at it indirectly, it's not that we are much more concerned about them. We are also concerned about ourselves because it's bringing inconvenience to us.
Some people in the north, maybe somewhere in Katsina State, they were of the opinion that they need to open the border, especially the Congolan border, saying that it creates more job for their people. Now I'm talking about Katsina as a state, and also it paves way for better trading. And back to the economic effect of this, the sanction, for the past 26 years, exports from Nigeria to Niger increased from what it used to be, maybe from 1995, we'll have like $39 million, to now equivalent to be $180 million in 2021. Now, do you think economic implication also happen to be what made Nigerians to say we are pulling out the sanctions?
Yeah, there will always be economic implications. Look at are you telling me that the US, the UK are not feeling the heat? Russia has the largest gas, right? There will be economic implication. Take it or leave it. That is why we have international relations, because no country has the ability to be able to subsist on itself. by itself. But the question is just like to act to ensure that nothing like this go again. Because now there are people talking about that, oh, some people are coming together, they want to form coup in Nigeria, say, you dare not do it. Because it is sending wrong signals all around. Joe get it. So there will always be economic implications. And these are things that we need to think through before bringing up the sanction. Because we would have looking at, there's what we call cost-benefit analysis in my field. You look at it, that if I give this sanction, do I have an alternative to be able to deal with this? So if you don't have an alternative, you know that you are coming bow to that pressure. So why not allow things to go?
Now, let's look at it from the area of security. Some time back, the military has come out to say that some of the people who are tagged as bandits and terrorists are mostly not Nigerians. Now, this, of course, is brought into the fact that we also, as a nation, do not have data of our citizens, basically. Now, the reopening of this border, isn't this worrisome as regards how people move from the country to another one, making it a bit difficult for the security operative of Nigeria to be able to handle security much more better than what we're experiencing?
Yes, it's worrisome because if you have insecurity challenge as a country, right, it also hindered and also discouraged investors from coming in. So you have a lot of people that desire that they want to come to Nigeria to invest, right? Because truth be told, Nigeria is one of the best places in the world you can invest. Because we have everything that has to, you see a lot of people, you see a lot of Chinese people trooping into Nigeria. You get to the airport and you say, what is making our people to run away? Because they have the comfort there. They can make the money, the cool money here. Even a lot of communications company, right? But the question is that once there are insecurity, nobody wants to come into a place where you, not only insecurity also, we talk about the valuation of your currency. Somebody is bringing in, let's say, over $10 billion. And you can't spend dollar in Nigeria. We are going to spend our functional currency. They convert the dollar at the exchange rate at this time, let's assume. So once he's done with the business and he had to repatriate the fund back, he will need to convert it back to the currency. So converting it back to the currency would have lost value. It's either maybe brought in $10 billion. Once it's done with the business, converting it back to that, it's either it's becoming that 10 billion or lower than that 10 billion. So it discourages investors. Because of the instability of our currency. And that is number one. Now coming about insecurity. If you are bringing your fund somewhere, you don't even have, you are not sure that even your life is secured to repatriate the fund. So an average investors coming into a country like that, they look at insecurity, they look at the government policies, and they look at the stability in the government. That is it not today there will be a democracy in power and next day the military will take over power. Those are the things they look at. Those are the parameters they look at before launching. So with this, when we talk about the porousness of our borders are porous. When you look at what our former president of US did, he said US border was porous. Mexico just like, so let's build a wall. It cost him so much. Right?
Can we build a replica of
We
that?
don't have the capacity. You get what I'm saying? But the thing is also that if our military personnel are not compromised, they can hold our borders. Not only allowing, because human beings are naturally exposed to a lot of compromise, but we can put system in place. We can put surveillance, put CCTV at our borders. We know what comes in and what goes out. So at that point in time, even if our personnel are being compromised, we can know who are being compromised and we can fish them out. But allowing it to hands on the hand of people, you understand? So you can't track it. Put some surveillance there. We have drone that can easily flow there. We have a CCTV camera that can be monitored. And at that point in time, you can track our borders. So we might not be able to build a wall, but we can put in some parameters there to ensure our borders are secure.
When you were talking earlier, made mention of, an undertone, which actually have not really been, though some people are saying Russia is backing some of the Western African, especially those who have moved into junta. But back to Nigeria, we had about $1.3 billion, being funded for Nigeria to construct a rail line from here from Kano State to be precise, to Niger Republic. And 85% of that actually is to be sponsored by a consortium by Chinese civil railway construction company. Now, do you think actually that when it gets to issues happening in ECOWAS as a bloc now, do you think the foreign bodies actually have a say, or do you think that the foreign bodies' statements or participation in this actually influence some of the actions we take in ECOWAS as a bloc?
Now, why you will say is influenced it is that, you see, if ECOWAS, it can construct a road or railway from Kano to Niger Republic. This is what we call having a kind of trade movement. It's just like what we, before the UK bloc, you remember during the UK, the Germany, everything that brought them together. And you see, these are things that makes transaction. And you remember we also have African Free Trade Zone, Africa Continental Free Trade Zone. It helps us to do business within ourselves in the African terrain and make sure that we become a bigger brand, right? It's not a bad thing. But when you now say that some people are moving out of the course and you want to channel them back that no, who is not the matter, this is the right course to do. We are going to discipline you there, right? At that point in time, if they don't have any kind of ally that supply the resources they need, they will hands up, right? But if they have alternatives to do it, so they will be formidable and say, oh, they will cut off your bluff, right? So because there are alternatives, because they have support from elsewhere, so they can say that either you or not, either you are available for us or not, we get our source from. And because of what you've done, we already have a good ally. We are going to cut off the supply. Remember, a country cannot subsist on itself. You need to depend on each other, right? And if some certain infrastructures are not considered, you just discover that as a snowball, look, I started with Niger, it came to Mali, it came to Niger, right? Before you know it, and they discovered that, wow, we did it and we went scot-free.
Do you agree with the ideology that if these sanctions were not lifted, there is a possibility that ECOWAS will disintegrate into nothingness?
Definitely. It's crystal clear.
Okay, now.
Right?
Okay.
So wisdom just tell you that, before we disintegrate, let us come back. The devil we know is better than the angel we've not seen.
Okay, so even with the calling off of these sanctions, do you think ECOWAS can still retain its strength in the region?
It's either here or there, right? Calling off the sanction is that, we've been fighting before, let's come back together. You benefit from me, I benefit from you.
Can we really come back together now?
What they are doing now is that we are tactically closing our eyes on what you've done that is wrong. We just assume it's not done. So we still go together. So indirectly, they're having an ECOWAS meeting. The military personnel that actually formed the coup, they'll be part of the meeting.
Wouldn't that be another reason for some other junta to decide to come up in some other West African countries?
And that is why we say, in as much you are using some, why don't up till now we have not found a final solution to our outage? I was reading what Mele Kyari was saying, and for me, there are some statements you don't say as a leader. You are telling me that in every year you have over 5,000 plus that is been illegal connection. So you've tracked over 4,001, and today it seems that once you disconnect one, the next day they come to connect it back. Is it an angel? Something baffles me. Why can't you get the people that are connecting it back? And you said it's as if, and some statement that it's as if everyone in Nigeria is involved. So what is indirectly saying that the president is involved, the commissioners are involved, the ministers, everyone in Nigeria, you and I, we are involved. So we can't track. No, it's just funny.
I was waiting for that.
You understand? It's just funny. are saying that, oh, it's like everybody in Nigeria is involved in this thing. Let's just fold our hands and look. And until you said, oh, normally if we are doing nothing, we are just folding our hands, we should be producing 2 million barrels per day, all things being equal. We are not intervening, we are not doing anything, we are just allowing things to move. But now, we got to 1.6, we dropped to 1.1, and below 1 million.
Okay, now let's look at this now as we make to wrap up now. You said something at the beginning that the president of Nigeria, who also doubles as the president of ECOWAS, was a little bit hasty in taking actions against Niger when the coup took place in that country, and now they're having to retract. And you also mentioned subsidy removal and the impact it had, and the fact that right now there is subsidy being paid on the ground, whether government comes out to accept it openly or not. IMF has come to say subsidy is being paid. Analysts in Nigeria, stakeholders have come to say subsidy is being paid. Would you now say that this administration is more acting before thinking, being reactionary? How would you describe it?
So, okay, that's a brilliant question. Most of the time, we are not always proactive. We are always reactive. In the sense that we react as situation come. We don't think ahead. We don't, okay, what if this happen? What is the next step for me to take?
How detrimental is that?
Sorry?
How detrimental?
So if you are always reactive, you make you make easy conclusion. You get your finger burned. You just do things as it comes. It's just like someone said that we live a day as it comes, right? You don't plan, right? Before you look at the repercussions. You look at we look at what will be the pros and cons. And so even before it happens, we just say that, oh, these are the things that might likely happen. How do we guard against it? Take for instance now, before putting sanction on ECOWAS, you just say, okay, these are the things. Oh, ECOWAS, our pipeline passes through them. We fly off from them. So you will have presumed what is the worst scenario that could happen after placing that sanction. In your mind, you are not reacting. And so you don't quickly, let me just say a small joke that happened. A husband and a wife, they're fighting and they're living in a kind of face me and face you. And the husband was angry and threw the wife's clothes out. As he was throwing it out, the neighbors was packing it in. He was throwing it out, the neighbor was packing it, and waiting for him to just throw the wife out. And so immediately, he just checked out and said, where's the load? And the neighbors was just people and said, just throw your wife out and I'll pick her. And he just like said, can't I play with my wife again? Give me back my wife load. Did you get it? Because it was just reactive. It didn't think about the negative impact. So these are things we should think before taking steps. So that once we take steps, we know that it's a decision that we've made and we are not going to answer, because so that it's not going to give other people an avenue to say that we are going to do it and go scot-free and nobody is going to hold us responsible.
All right, well, we must thank you at this point for your thoughts and views. This is how far we can take this part of the show. We'll be speaking with Oluwashola Ganiyu, who is a managing partner, I beg your pardon, KJB Professional Services. That's a tax company. Yes?
Tax audit and advisory.
Tax audit. Well, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into business news.